Greetings, fellow anime aficionados. Today, we're embarking on another journey into the enigmatic realm of shonen anime, where you've undoubtedly crossed paths with some rather unsettling characters. Orochimaru with his serpentine allure in Part 1 and the grotesque titans lurking in Attack on Titan, which have left us with a sense of dread. But brace yourselves, for there exists one character who takes creepy to an entirely new level. And he's not your run-of-the-mill antagonist. This character opts for a guise that's the stuff of a child's worst nightmares, a clown. Buckle up as we delve deep into the dark and disturbing world of Hunter x Hunter's Hisoka. His unnerving presence, twisted desires, and unpredictable nature have earned him a spot in the Hall of Fame of the genre's most unsettling characters. So without further ado, let's unravel the mysteries surrounding Hisoka and discover why he stands out as a truly haunting presence in shonen anime history. Before we dive headfirst into this intriguing analysis, get ready because today we're about to explore the deepest recesses of Hisoka's unsettling character and find out what makes him a standout figure in the world of shonen anime. How is Hisoka's introduction indicative of his sinister nature? We meet Hisoka for the first time in the Hunter exam. As far as first impressions go, you've got to hand it to Hisoka. He's got a very distinctly disturbing style. I mean, just look at the guy. His hot pink, slick back hair, ghostly pale skin, and his eerie grin. And then there's that magician's outfit he's always sporting. It just adds to the weirdness and mystery. The way the narrator describes Hisoka and the first impression that he gives to you, you immediately get a sinister vibe about the guy. Tonpa mentions to Gon and Killua that he was disqualified from the Hunter exam for assaulting and injuring an examiner. The manga goes into further detail about his disqualification. Now, we know how grueling and challenging the Hunter exams are designed to be. Death is just one of the many possible outcomes for the people attempting it, but this guy decided to not only injure and kill his fellow participants, which is not against the rules, but he also goes ahead and tortures an examiner. We are immediately given the impression that Hisoka is not someone you mess with. This thought process is given further credibility when we see him killing the contestants in this attempt with his cards in an avant-garde manner. So when the Hunter exam kicks off, Hisoka shows just how effortlessly he can keep up with Sato's, who's like a seasoned pro. They eventually make it to the Milsey wetlands and we actually start getting an insight into his character. A man-faced ape tries to pretend he's the real examiner, but Hisoka doesn't play around. He hurls cards at both the imposter and Sato's, and when the man-faced ape dies and Sato's blocks his attack, he claims that Sato's is the real examiner. When the frog rolls in, Hisoka decides to entertain himself and starts playing examiner. He starts attacking everyone around him, including Kurapika and Leorio. He finds himself surrounded by a bunch of other Hunter exam contestants. He dispatches them without even breaking a sweat. It's like they're just playthings to him, and in the end, only Cherry, Leorio, and Kurapika are left standing. So the three of them decide to split up and hightail it out of there, which honestly is a pretty smart move when you're dealing with someone like Hisoka. He's got this sinister countdown going from 10, and just when it looks like Leorio's about to throw down with him, Gon steps in. Hisoka, in his weird way, seems to appreciate Gon's courage and with a flick of his fingers takes Leorio out of the fight. But when Gon tries to be the hero, Hisoka gives him a little scare, just lightly clutching his throat. This guy's like a messed up mentor, declaring that both Leorio and Gon have what it takes to become hunters. In the fourth phase of the trial, we get to see how self-absorbed Hisoka is. We get the idea that he's here to entertain himself. After all the chaos in the Hunter exam, the remaining examinees get shipped off to Zebel Island for another round of challenges. They've got to play a week-long game of cat and mouse to capture each other's number plates. Hisoka gets to get off and start to hunt first due to his performances in the previous trials. But what does he do? He just chills in the first 2 days. Gitarakur even offers to tell him who his target is, but he isn't interested in playing the game the examiners created. He would rather take 3 random tags. Afterward, Gon challenges Hisoka to a duel, but Hisoka realizes Gon is on his last leg, and he's interested. Just when things get intense, Gitarakur steps in and finishes off Gon. Hisoka decides to respect Gon's final wish and takes a new number plate from Gitarakur. It's a strange twist in Hisoka's character, showing that even a guy as unpredictable as him can have moments of, well, I won't say kindness, but something like it. As night falls, Hisoka goes on to prowl again and he spots Leorio and Kurapika. But instead of going all out, he's intrigued by their determination and lets them go unharmed in exchange for one of their number plates. He sees something in them that gets him excited, and you can see the craziness taking over him. Hisoka comes across Aegon and he takes him out, but Gon has been quietly following Hisoka and swipes his badge while he's in the middle of the fight. When Hisoka realizes that Gon has been tailing him this whole time, he praises Gon for his stealth and leaves him for his badge. When Gon refuses to take this favor, Hisoka switches and throws a right hook at Gon to show Gon his standing with Hisoka. In the entirety of the exam, you can see Hisoka reveling in murdering and torturing. He's especially proud of his showmanship. We can conclude that Hisoka is an aggressive philiac, a person who is sexually aroused or turned on by violence and fighting. Hisoka's got this never-ending craving for powerful opponents, and that's what really keeps him going. His fixation on Gon's potential is like a twisted mentorship meets manipulation combo, showing his moral gray area and how he's all in for those intense battles. Who is Hisoka? Why is his identity shrouded in mystery? Do his tattoos signify something? Hisoka's character can be compared to the iconic clown-themed supervillains like the Joker and Pennywise. Hisoka, just like the Joker, definitely has a knack for psychopathic tendencies. Both of them get a kick out of chaos, violence, and manipulating people, and none of them seem to know the meaning of empathy. Hisoka, the Joker, and even Pennywise all share this disturbing lack of compassion, and they're in it for their own twisted amusement. Now, when it comes to their style, all three have their own clown thing going on. You've got Hisoka with his eerie grin and clown-like getup, just like the Joker and Pennywise. But here's where it gets really interesting. Hisoka is a bit different from the other two. He's got this crazy control and rationality that the Joker and Pennywise don't. While they're kind of unpredictable, Hisoka plans things out. He strategically seeks out strong opponents, and that makes him seriously dangerous because he knows what he's doing. The Joker and Pennywise in various adaptations have their own origins explored, giving us a glimpse into why they're so messed up. But with Hisoka, it's a whole different story. It does not have any official origin story. While there may be no official Hunter x Hunter backstory, Sui Ishida created a one-shot chapter called Hisoka's Past with the approval of Yoshihiro Togashi. The story opens up with a young Hisoka discovered by Morotonyo, the ringmaster of the Morotonyo group in a near-death state. This early chapter in Hisoka's life unfolds in Glam Gasland, once a gas-rich city northeast of York New City, which later transforms into an entertainment hub. The Morotonyo group aims to make it big in the entertainment industry with their leader, Morotonyo, possessing a unique Nen ability called Sky Swimming, granting him magnetic aura energy to walk on any surface. Here, Hisoka showcases his showmanship, outperforming a lot of the group's members, even forcing the juggler to leave the industry itself. Now this is where we start to see Hisoka's sadistic side. He revels in the juggler's pain. He makes it a point to play mind games in the group. He absolutely adores toying with people's emotions. This is also the first time Hisoka wears his famous star and tear makeup. Impressed by Hisoka, Morotonyo started training Hisoka in Nen, and Hisoka learned aura control and eventually created bungee gum. At the same time, there's a serial killer loose in Glam Gasland called One-Hundred-Faced John Doe. He's given this name because he uses a different face for every attack. With Morotonyo's training, Hisoka turns out to be a million in a million Nen user who learned everything in a week. Normally, it would take 3 years. Hisoka also deduces that Morotonyo is the one-hundred-faced John Doe and kills him. It turns out that Morotonyo also has a sadistic side to him. He gets off to the thrill of showmanship but cannot finish it until he kills somebody. We can deduce that this is where Hisoka created Texture Surprise. But again, this is not official Hunter x Hunter manga, so we cannot confirm Hisoka's history. If we talk about Hisoka's personality, there's no logic to his twisted behavior, but we can find meaning in certain things. For example, the teardrop and star are part of his personality, and you can get when he dons that makeup, he is out to put on a show. Another interpretation of the tear mark, though it's not necessarily stated in Hunter x Hunter, can be associated with murderers. It's a popular prison tattoo. Ultimately, Hisoka remains an enigma, and speaking of personality, what motivates Hisoka in life? Why does this make him a certified psychopath? Hisoka's motivations is an unending pitch-black abyss. His obsession knows no bounds, being driven by an unquenchable desire to face and conquer opponents of great strength. It's not merely about the victory, it's the twisted pleasure he derives from the chaos and brutality of battle. Hisoka revels in the thrill of the confrontation, savoring the moment when he asserts his dominance and watches his rivals crumble. He doesn't seek fair contests or honorable battles. His goal is to annihilate his foes both physically and mentally. Hisoka relishes the moment when he can assert his absolute superiority, reducing those who dare to challenge him to mere playthings in his deadly game. But Hisoka isn't just indiscriminate in his killing, he's got standards. Twisted as his day may be, if you're in his way or don't meet his worthy criteria, well, you're out of luck. He doesn't care about your age or gender. If you're on his list, it's game over. This guy has a thing for fighting strong opponents, and when I say strong, I mean anyone with nen potential. Age or gender? Nope, that doesn't even register on his radar. But Hisoka's not above randomly picking victims just to satisfy his bloodlust. He's got this insatiable hunger for violence, and it doesn't matter who gets caught up in it. Hisoka is all about having a blast and a good challenge, even if it means murdering people. He's the king of unpredictability, and he's got a knack for playing cruel jokes on his victims. The sheer discomfort he causes them is like music to his ears. But how does Hisoka keep up with battling these opponents? Let's talk about his nen ability. Bungee gum, this thing is like his Swiss Army knife in combat. He can make his aura sticky and elastic, and it's seriously versatile. Offensively, he can use it to pull opponents toward him or create these flail-like weapons. But here's the sneaky part, he can also detach it from his body, attaching it to projectiles like cards that sets up these multi-layered traps that can snap shut in the blink of an eye. Hisoka is also a master of using bungee gum for other things. He can zip away at lightning speed by sticking to surfaces, setting traps, immobilizing objects, or even stopping bleeding by covering wounds. Now there's another side to Hisoka's nen abilities called Texture Surprise. He can apply his aura to surfaces and change their appearance and texture. He's got over 1,000 different textures up his sleeve, and he's used it for some serious mind games. Hisoka can hide injuries, mess with opponents' heads, and even change his own appearance. It's like he's the ultimate master of disguise. So, Hisoka's nen powers are not just about fighting, they're a reflection of his cunning and unpredictability. Whether he's battling it out or playing mind games, Hisoka's nen abilities are tailor-made for his quest to face formidable opponents in the most thrilling ways possible. And then there's his androgynous side. He's all about blurring those gender lines, rocking women's shoes, and using a speech style that's usually reserved for ladies in Japanese. Plus, the dude ends nearly every sentence with a suit symbol in the manga. How his dynamic with Machi expresses his inner love for sadism. Alright, let's delve into the twisted world of Hisoka and his peculiar connection with Machi. This dynamic is like a case study of Hisoka's love for sadism, which is essentially deriving pleasure from pain. Whether it's inflicting it or experiencing it, whenever Hisoka gets a limb severed, which happens more often than you'd think, he doesn't just use his own nen abilities to patch himself up, he specifically asks for Machi's help because she appreciates her artful needlework. He willingly endures the pain of having his body sewn back together because he finds it amusing. It's like he's conducting his own painful circus act just for kicks. And it's not just about the pain in combat. Hisoka's fascination with suffering goes way beyond that. He takes pleasure in the sheer agony of having his body mutilated, even though he's fully capable of using his nen powers to avoid it. It's like he's a walking, talking puzzle of pain and pleasure. Hisoka's connection with Machi takes a pretty dark turn in the manga. He continually pursues her and asks her to sleep with him, but it's not just some romantic thing, he's got a master plan up his sleeve. Even though he finds her nen ability fascinating, so much so that he's willing to mutilate himself, he's just using her as a chess piece in his plot to take down the entire Phantom Troop. It's all about manipulation, not love or connection. For Hisoka, people, even those close to him, are just tools for his own amusement and goal. In chapter 357, Hisoka's return from the dead is nothing short of mind-boggling, and it reveals some intriguing facets of his relationship with Machi. When we first see him, he's presented before Kortopi, Shalnark, and Machi, and his face is an absolute mess after the explosion. But here's the kicker. He's not as damaged as you'd expect. Shalnark spills the beans, explaining that Hisoka used a bunch of puppets as a kind of meat shield during the blast. This protected him from the worst of it, but eventually led to suffocation, hence his death. But Hisoka's post-mortem nen pulls a shocker by resurrecting himself. Machi initially believes it's his nen preserving after death, but the truth is that Hisoka used his bungee gum to restart his heart and lungs, so he literally brought himself back from the dead. When he greets Machi after this little stunt, it's almost cheerful. She confirms that he was indeed dead for a while. Hisoka chalks it up to biting off way more than he could chew by tangling with Chrollo and a horde of nen puppets at once. He even calls it a wake-up call. Hisoka proceeds to mend and hide his wounds, even replacing his missing arm and leg, using his trusty bungee gum and texture surprise. He casually mentions that his next opponents won't have a say in where and who they fight. Before he leaves, he restrains Machi with bungee gum and things get heated. She swears at him and threatens to kill him herself, and it's clear that their relationship is complicated. We get a glimpse of the bizarre dance between Hisoka and Machi. Hisoka's resurrection isn't just a testament to his dead abilities, it's also a nod to the tangled web of emotions and power plays that define his interactions with those around him. It's like a dramatic soap opera in the midst of a battle royale. The dynamic with Machi peels back the layers of Hisoka's deep-seated sadism. He is all about getting a kick out of pain, whether he's dishing it out or taking it, and this twisted relationship with Machi gives us a front row seat to the darker side of his character. Is Hisoka a pedophile? Why is he attracted to Gon and Killua? Hisoka's character is a real puzzle, and it can get pretty unsettling. People have wondered if he's a pedophile, but it's not that cut and dry. The series doesn't flat out call him one, but there are some moments to make you raise an eyebrow. In the Hunter exam arc, Hisoka's behavior towards Gon and Killua is well disturbing. There are instances where it seems like he's checking out their behind. Yeah, not exactly the most comfortable vibe, right? Then in the election arc, he gets all excited about the idea of potentially taking down Killua. It adds another layer to the whole Hisoka puzzle. Now here's where things get a tad murky. Hisoka makes his hand sign when he talks about wanting to kill Killua, and some folks interpret it as something more sinister than just murder. As Gon starts racking up those wins in the Heavens Arena arc, Hisoka's excitement is practically palpable. You see, for Hisoka, the idea of taking on and eventually defeating strong opponents is like his life's mission. So, Gon's progress becomes a turbo boost of excitement for him. This moment in the series isn't just about Gon's growth as a fighter, it's about Hisoka's unquenchable thirst for challenging battles and the electrifying anticipation of facing someone as strong as Gon. He's obsessed with strong opponents and is willing to go to great lengths to provoke these showdowns. So maybe, just maybe, his attraction to Gon and Killua is less about something inappropriate and more about recognizing their potential to give him that thrilling life-and-death battle he craves. It's a testament to the complexity of his character in the world of Hunter x Hunter. What makes Hisoka the most dangerous person you can come across in the Hunter x Hunter universe? What sets Hisoka apart from the rest is his ability to shapeshift in the midst of a battlefield, seamlessly moving from being a pawn to playing all sides involved. A prime example of this can be found during the York New City arc, where he engaged in a high-stakes game of manipulation and strategy. Here, he masterfully faked his affiliation with a phantom troop, tricking everyone into believing he was one of them. But that's not all. He also fabricated a prophecy thanks to Neon's ability, keeping everyone guessing and off balance. Hisoka's agenda was to get a chance at a one-on-one showdown with Chrollo Lucifer, the leader of the Phantom Troop. In the anime adaptation, things take a different turn because Chrollo is hit with Kurapika's curse first, which makes Hisoka lose interest. He then embarks on a journey to Greed Island to seek out a Nen exorcist who can lift Chrollo's curse, enabling them to have the duel he's been yearning for. Now here's where it gets truly fascinating. Chrollo, in order to level the playing field against Hisoka, engages in a year of meticulous planning, harnessing the ideal setting in the Heavens Arena, and developing at least 4 Nen abilities beside his own. It's a testament to Hisoka's prowess that it takes such an elaborate scheme just to stand a chance against him. Even when Chrollo manages to defeat Hisoka in their epic battle, it's far from the end. Hisoka's intricate Nen abilities and condition he set upon himself allows him to come back from the dead, stronger and more determined than ever. His vow to single-handedly eliminate all members of the Phantom Troop shows just how relentless and unstoppable he can be. Hisoka's genius battle intellect, layered strategies, and ability to adapt rapidly to any situation make him a force to be reckoned with in the Hunter x Hunter universe. Marvelous verdict. What makes Hisoka the creepiest and most disturbing character in shonen anime history is the perfect storm of his unpredictability, sadistic tendencies, and complete lack of empathy. If Hisoka is in a scene, get ready for an unsettling and crazy episode. His unpredictability keeps you on the edge of your seat. You can never anticipate his next move or understand the reasoning behind it, which add an element of constant unease. His willingness to go to any lengths to achieve his goals makes him a formidable opponent. His sadistic tendencies takes his character to a whole new level of disturbing. It's not just about winning for Hisoka, it's about the thrill of inflicting pain and suffering on others. His battles are not merely about victory, they're about tormenting his opponents in the most twisted ways possible. What truly cements Hisoka's status as the creepiest character is his utter lack of empathy. He sees people as tools for his own amusement and takes pleasure in their anguish. His world revolves around finding the strongest adversaries to fight, and he doesn't care about the consequences of his actions. Just take a look at his Nen abilities. He created them to trick and manipulate his opponent. He wants the opponent to do his very best and still turns the tables on him. That look of hopelessness after doing their very best is a drug he is willing to die for. So, when you combine all these elements, you get a character that embodies the darkest aspects of human nature. Hisoka's presence in the world of anime is a testament to the capacity for cruelty and malevolence that can lurk beneath a seemingly charming facade.